Let's move on to some climate change news, even though I was just talking about climate change. Um, they're lying to you. They're just straight up lying to you. They're telling you they're going to be so different. I'm going to show you this picture again. I know I showed this to you yesterday, but the the tweet around this picture was great, and I just wanted to show you the words. Politicians, we can't worry about the climate crisis while we're dealing with COVID-19. Climate crisis. Here you go. You know, this is a lot like the waves, you know, engulfing the city. Coronavirus being a small wave in climate change, and extinction being much bigger waves than coronavirus. So yeah, if you think, oh, how dare you talk about climate change when we're dealing with a pandemic? Oh yeah, how about shut up? How about be quiet? How about, you know, extinct? Let me see, global extinction, or you know, a pandemic that's, you know, killing a lot of people. It's not good. It's not fun. It's not fun for anybody. It's hurting people. But on the level of climate change, yeah, not so much. Not so much. Here's a tweet from Ben C at Climate Ben. Surreal that most climate scientists think we'll hit 2C of global warming by 2045, give or take 5 or 10 years. And that 2C is meaningless to most people, and that there are no 2C is coming headlines, and that 2C will severely harm civilization and wreck the natural world we love. Right. Right. And remember that the WMO said that we will see 1.5 in the next 4 years. So how soon do you think we're going to hit 2C? Yes, quite a few people are experiencing some serious problems in Northern California because of fire. A lot of people are having to leave their homes. A friend of the channel called me last night, said that they were escaping fire. So it's a serious thing. More on fire. This is from Eric Holthouse. Holy shit, dense smoke from western wildfires now cover half the United States and has begun to wrap around Tropical Storm Genevieve off the coast of Mexico. Diffuse smoke has already reached the skies over New York City. This is a continental scale emergency. So there is a picture from UW-Madison. NOAA's HRRR vertically integrated smoke profile from 12Z today shows very few smoke-free U.S. locations, with California wildfire smoke wrapping around Tropical Storm Genevieve and reaching into Mexico and Canada as well. That is a crazy amount of smoke. Give me 1 second, guys. And so I'm going to do a couple tweets from Go Green. Decades of warnings ignored. A 2°C world by 2035 is humanity's date with destiny. Climate change, point of no return. Unleashing catastrophic effects from widespread flooding in coastal areas to searing heat waves and extreme storms. By the way, guys, it's currently 91 degrees where I'm at in Los Angeles. It's a little hotter than that in my studio. It's actually nearing 100 degrees by my thermometer. So yeah, plus 5 or 10. Um, so study says 2035 is climate change point of no return. This is 2 years old. It's a 2-year-old study. So this is saying that after 2035, that's when everything's going to go wrong. Do you think we have until 2035? The time for action is now, at least when it comes to global climate change. If the world's major governments don't enact measures that limit global warming, it may be impossible to stop its progress. According to a study published on August 30th, 2018 in the journal Earth System Dynamics, the study led by scientists in the United Kingdom and Netherlands claimed that in 2035, we will cross a point of no return, after which it will be extremely unlikely we can stop Earth's temperature from rising by 2 degrees and kicking off dangerous medley of global disasters. What is your, dear viewers, your over-under on reaching 2C before 2035? Joey Crikey says 2C by 2035, yes. Osama, 1935, climate change point of no return. Last Monkey, we are past it. Judy Truitt, almost 100 here. You're in Northern California, yeah? Or no? Where are you? I forget. I'm always forgetting. I apologize. 119 watching, 48 likes. Please like up the video. Again, if you're new, you know what to do. Please subscribe. Yeah, what, you know, some people think that we are already very close to 2 in the 1.65 or 1.75 range of C. So if we are actually there, what are the chances we reach 2C by 2030? And I'd like to know, what are the chances that the powers that be let us know that we're at 2C? I think, you know, they're doing everything in their power to make sure that, you know, I'm seeing a lot of charts on Twitter that show a 1980 baseline, and we're 0.75 above the 1980 baseline, right? Very, very intentional. Very intentional. But then, you know, you read a lot of articles, and most common knowledge among scientists is that we are at 1C or thereabouts. We're either a little below or a little above, 0.9 something or 0.11 or 1.1, excuse me. However, some people think we're at 1.2. Other people think we're past 1.5 already. Again, I read an article a few weeks ago in which the World Meteorological Organization admitted that we will reach 1.5 in the next 4 years. We will touch 1.5. If we're going to touch 1.5, and they're going to admit that we're going to touch 1.5 pretty soon. Unapologetic vegan, move that baseline indeed, yes. The Last Monkey says, my baseline starts when T Fords go into production. Sure. Well, anyways, let's get to the news that is catching everybody's eye at the moment, and very, very, very concerning. This is from Go Green. Again, deniers look away. The shock may be too much, right? We're cooling. We're going into a cooling period. How about that grand solar minimum? Do you have your dunce cap handy? Let's go into the story. This is from the Barents Observer. Expedition shares scary photos from the North Pole. Like I said, this is not Arctic ice. This is ice cubes. Melting ice cubes in the Arctic Ocean. This is not solid ice on any level. These are just bits of ice floating about. Loose and weak ice with lots of melt ponds, partly open water, and no signs of multi-year ice. The powerful photos from the Mosaic expedition reaching the North Pole on August 19 that show the dramatic impact of climate changes. And this is from yesterday. Few photos are better proof of the climate crisis than those taken by the members of the Mosaic expedition over the last few days. The Barents Observer has obtained permission to repost some of them, showing the current ice cap on the top of the world. The photos clearly underline how several recent climate studies predicting ice-free Arctic summers by 2035, well, there's that magic date again, right, is not a theoretical scenario, but rather an unavoidable fact. Ooh, I'm going to read that again. Not a theoretical scenario, but rather an unavoidable fact. And if you're telling me that we're not going to have an ice-free Arctic before 2035, based on these pictures right here, I'm going to tell you, you have some very nice rose-colored glasses on. The expedition ship Polarstern sailed from the northern Fram Strait between Greenland and Svalbard to the North Pole this week. I'm very surprised to see how soft and easy to traverse the ice up to 88 North is this year, having thawed to the point of being thin and porous, said Captain Thomas Wunderlich. Even after passing 88 North, we mostly maintain a speed of 5 to 7 knots. I've never seen that so far north, the Polarstern captain said. He added, the current situation is historic. If you see, look at this ice. This is not ice cover again. This looks like something out of a Dr. Seuss book. These are just ice cubes floating around in the water. In open water, covered with melt ponds and melting from the bottom. The sea ice is no real barrier for the research icebreaker on her way towards the North Pole. The Mosaic expedition is the largest science voyage into polar waters in history. Sailing out of Tromsø in September 2019, the German icebreaker has so far nearly spent 1 year drifting through the Arctic Ocean. Last fall, across the Barents Sea to the north of Novaya Zemlya, and Severnaya Zemlya, before sailing into the ice and drifting northwest during the polar night season. Hundreds of researchers from 20 countries are involved, gathering data aimed at getting a much better understanding of the Arctic climate impact. Since sea ice drifts from the north of Siberia across the Arctic Ocean to Greenland, Canadian side, multiple year ice used to pack north of Greenland. Normally, it's wise to avoid the region north of Greenland because it's home to the thicker, older ice and virtually impassable, Polarstern Captain Wunderlich explained. Wunderlich. But now we're finding extended stretches of open water reaching nearly to the pole. This is amazing, guys. A study published last week in the journal Nature Climate Change could tell the serious negative path for Arctic summer sea ice. The study points to exactly what can be seen on the photos from this August Mosaic voyage. The shallow pools of water form on the surface of the ice, so-called melt ponds, causes more sunlight to be absorbed instead of being reflected back into space, as is the case with white snow-covered ice, the scientist said. Meanwhile, Polarstern continues the research expedition towards east in direction of Siberia and plans for a stop in the ice at about 88 North. Professor Marcus Rex of the Alfred Wegener Institute, Helmholtz Center for Polar Marine Research, is expedition leader. Depending on the ice conditions, however, we'll start looking for a suitable flow in the vicinity of the North Pole so that we can start working on the ice as soon as possible, Marcus Rex explained. The researchers' priorities now will be the beginning of freezing in the early phase of ice formation as the Arctic autumn and winter season starts. The disturbing photos, we'll just look at this for a second. Amazing. This disturbing photos by this year's Mosaic expedition follows an escalating trend seen in the last few years. The first surface vessel to reach the North Pole was the Soviet Union's nuclear-powered icebreaker Arktika on August 17, 1977. On the 40 years anniversary of the voyage in August 2017, the icebreaker 50 Let Pobedi sailed the same route from Murmansk to the North Pole in just 79 hours, as reported by the Barents Observer at this time. The voyage with Arktika took 176 hours, more than twice the time. Both icebreakers were powered by the same type of twin nuclear reactors. Yeah. Again, not good, guys. Not good. Thank you, Blue Gold 21. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Hi, BBN from the UK. 2 degrees C by 2027, give or take a year. That's your prediction. All right. Duly noted. That's really soon. John Ziggy Kelleher, you have ozone holes in the Arctic. That's also very true. Rudolf Zavedno says Arctic ice is kaput, and so are we. Kuro Hikes, I was caught off guard because I did not realize Greenland was as bad as it is. It's really bad. It's really bad. I think I showed you some of those pictures that Zach Labe posted about the multi-year ice. There's basically none. If you want to know how much multi-year ice is left in the Arctic, it is none. That is the answer. And to see how much of the ice is just basically ice cubes. These aren't even icebergs, right? Icebergs might be thicker ice that's floating, floating or free in the water. No, these are just thin little patches of ice floating on top of the water that are not even connected to each other. Joey Crikey, boats powered by nuclear reactors in the Arctic. What could go wrong? Exactly. Kuro Hike says there's more ice in my bourbon right now. Skull or Prost or whatever you want to say. Again, more pictures from the Arctic. Climate change. This is from 9 News. Historic Arctic heat wave has thawed North Pole so much it's shattered. I like that. Like that verbiage from Luke Cooper. This is from yesterday as well. If you want to just look at these pictures. This is crazy. This is crazy. That ice is almost gone. That ice is almost gone. Look at this. This is just ice cubes floating in water. There's no multi-year ice. Tragic is the only word I can think of. Another good tweet from Go Green. Melting ice is a gift to the fossil fuel tankers navigating the Arctic, which emit black carbon or dark soot-colored particles, which rose by 12% over the study period. Most of those emissions came from ships burning heavy oil-based fuels. Let's read a little bit of this. This is from Grist. From August 17th, melting ice is a gift to the fossil fuel tankers navigating the Arctic. Of course it is. A stocky blue 980-foot-long tanker named Christophe de Margerie sailed from Russia's far north Yamal Peninsula to the Bering Strait near Alaska in May. We've been covering the story, on and off the last couple months. 2 months before the ships usually pass through the major Arctic sea route. The vessel carried and ran on liquefied natural gas, accompanied by the icebreaker Yamal on the 12-day journey. Record low ice levels along the route allowed its Russian owner, Sovcomflot, to ship the fossil fuel to China, completing the earliest voyage of its kind yet. Yay! Anyways, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we all know this story. The ice is thinning. The oil companies are happy. The major powers are happy. They're going to send all the ships and rush toward the Arctic for all the goodies that it can supply us with. We're going to immediately capitalize the Arctic. That's what's going to happen. $125 watching, 63 likes. Please like up the video, guys. Just got a couple more things to cover. This out of Texas Climate News. Reducing deforestation, wildlife trade, key to limiting future pandemics. Are they now? August 13th, 2020. A new study finds precautionary measures that decrease animal-human contact and pathogen spread are a sound return on investment. Pandemics like climate change need global solutions, or do they? Tell me more. A Rice University co-author says, as the world reels from the accumulating costs of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, it may be time to look toward funding solutions that could prevent future pandemics. According to recent research published in the journal Science, the estimated expenses of the COVID-19 pandemic may be 500 times greater than the annual cost of funding measures to prevent zoonotic or animal-borne disease outbreaks from occurring and escalating into pandemics. The primary precautionary actions the researchers suggest are to tackle the issues of deforestation and wildlife trade, two main drivers of animal-human contact and pathogen transmission. They say initiatives in these areas are currently underfunded and would produce a high return on investment. The study's authors, a team of 17 experts, including scientists, economists, and conservationists, estimate the total damages from COVID-19 to be 8.1 trillion to 15.8 trillion, a combination of the value of global GDP and lives lost. In comparison, the proposed preventative measures range from 22 billion to 31.2 billion. Obviously, much less. What's the total damages from climate change? They're saying the cost for COVID-19 is 8 to 15 trillion. Okay. Again, there's actually just no price. There's no cost of climate change other than the whole world. So trying to put a price on it is ridiculous. Trying to make it some kind of capitalist outcome or economic outcome from saving ourselves from climate change is ridiculous. How about just save ourselves from climate change because otherwise we're all dead? To put it in those terms. I'm going to go down here. Climate benefits. In April, Texas Climate News reported on the link between accelerating rates of ecosystem destruction and disease transmission in large ecosystems like tropical forests. Deforestation fragments forests into checkerboard-like areas, increasing the amount of exposed perimeter and the likelihood of virus spillover from animals to humans. It also causes biodiversity loss. There's that too, and displaces animals from their habitats. Additional factors that increase the rate of disease transmission. A decrease in deforestation could also generate benefits unrelated to pandemic prevention. The study's authors estimate a resulting annual reduction in carbon dioxide emissions of 118 million tons, about 0.36% of global emissions in 2019. This reduction would generate 4.31 billion in economic benefits, bringing pandemic prevention costs down to a total of 17.7 billion or 26.9 billion annually. There you go. See, you prevent pandemics and you prevent climate change and you save money. Isn't that awesome? Hey guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and you can support the channel at the links below, PayPal, Patreon, Square. Also, if you'd like to watch the live streams, you can watch the live streams on my Patreon channel. You can subscribe for as little as $1. So hopefully I will see you over there, and thanks so much.